Tonight. I am starting to put a schedule up for the week. Hopefully that will help you guys plan and figure out what you might want to watch and get involved with. Couple other quick things I want to show. So I've mentioned a couple times, but hearthstone.com is the website. Give me 1 second. I need to switch. There we go. There we go. So hearthstone.com is our website. Please check it out. We have very active forums, a deck builder, an arena simulator, which is called the Forge. The arena used to be called the Forge, and then Blizzard decided to change the name at some point. So it's our website. We also have the Hearthstone forums, which is our very active forums. See, right now there are 503 people on the site, so pretty good size. If you want to check out the Hearthstone 101 guide that I occasionally talk about, it is linked here in our forums. Gives you an overview of the game as well as specific card explanations that Blizzard has given. You can see it's pretty extensive. One of the moderators called it the Thread of Doom when I first put it together, but obviously Hearthstone ended up liking it because I ended up joining them as a moderator. So it's a Hearthstone 101 guide. Check it out when you have a chance. Otherwise, let's see. So, actually, let's go here. So we're doing a warrior constructed deck tonight. And you get rid of the broadcasting module. So what I did is I put together a, let me change one thing. Take this out of full screen. Alright, well for some reason it resized. So my guess is you guys are not going to see, well, you're seeing enough of it. Alright, so I started to put together the core of a warrior rank deck, but I also I read through everybody's emails that sent me suggestions for the warrior deck. I appreciate it. So what I did is I added, this is Cockatrice. Some of you heard us talk about Cockatrice before. This is an emulator that you could play before the game came out. You guys could still play this now if you wanted to. You just go to Good Bobby Calamari and download it. But what I did is I added a lot of the cards, pretty much all the warrior cards, as well as the cards that people suggested we add to the deck. So we'll probably use this to work through the cards and figure out how to fill our deck out. So the plan for tonight is to spend 15-20 minutes, maybe a bit more, a bit less, putting this warrior deck together, and then we will take it for a spin in the ranked mode. For those you haven't seen the ranked mode yet, at least on this stream, we've only played arena, so we're going to try to give that a run tonight. We decided to pick warrior. I decided to pick warrior because it's not an often played class, and also because we did play in arena a couple times, and I thought it actually had more promise than I was expecting, frankly, so I wanted to give it a try. So the idea behind this deck is to focus primarily on charge minions, and use them to make our damage, to be a really highly aggressive deck. I think we have really three potential challenges with that approach. The first is taunt. Obviously, if they have taunt minions on the board, that really slows down the deck. I think the best way to get around that are cards, oops, I just took it away, like Ironbeak Owl, which allow you to silence a minion when they come into play. So this will, if we have a taunt minion on the board that we don't want to deal with, we can silence the taunt away, and then we can bypass it. So that, I think that's the primary way that we can deal with taunt. The second challenge is going to be board control. I think we need to make sure we have cards in play that will allow us to have some board control. So these are things like Whirlwind, Cleave, Slam, direct damage abilities, Execute, that will let us do damage to minions, Shield Slam, do damage to minions and remove them from the board. The ultimate board clear for warriors is Brawl. So this is another reason why that card is already in the deck. Let's see, I said three challenges, and of course now I'm struggling to remember the third challenge. Let's see, Taunt, board control, and now I can't remember. Alright, so, oh, card advantage. I do think we may have an issue with card advantage, and we may have an issue with card advantage simply because if we're playing charge minions, they tend to, you play the card and usually it gets killed off pretty quickly. Also, they tend not to have a ton of health, So the opponent's probably going to be able to make some pretty good trades. The other issue we'll have is because they don't have a lot of health, they can be cleared by AoE spells, which can also get us in the card disadvantage. I think there's things we can do to alleviate that. Obviously, there's always draw power, which will... hey, Bronius. I think you will see Leroy having a role in this deck. We'll talk about that. So I think the way we can get around card advantage is obviously there's draw power, which we can talk about probably the best draw power choices for the deck. And also, I think the other thing are things like Youthful Brewmaster, which allows you to bounce a card and replay it. People don't necessarily think about that as draw power, but you're getting to use the same card twice. So it's basically like that you drew the same card twice. So, I think that's definitely another way to eliminate a card disadvantage issue. Let's see. Sorry. So that's kind of my thought. So going for charge, we need to deal with taunt, we need to deal with card disadvantage, and we also need to deal with being able to assert some board control, particularly in the mid game if we get behind on minions. So here's what I've put into the deck so far. We have execute, destroy a damaged minion. This is really, even though it's a 1 mana drop, it's really more of a late game ability in my mind, or mid game ability, where we need to clear a big minion, so we run a small minion to it and destroy it with the spell. Shield Slam, deal 1 damage to a minion for each armor you have. Again, it's single minion removal. Whirlwind, deal 1 damage to all minions. Now notice it's all minions. That includes our minions. We may or may not include this one in. If we decide to go with some Enrage minions, then we can trigger their Enrage this way, or like the Gurabashi Berserker, his pseudo Enrage you can trigger this way. So Enrage, I keep saying Enrage for, so you can, that might be another possibility. Whirlwind. Cleave is an AoE clear. Slam is a direct damage plus draw. Ironbeak Owl is in for the silences. Shield Block is armor and draw power as well. Evening Revenix. Corcoran Elite is probably the best for its mana. I think it's one of the best charge minions in the game. Sinjin, I'm not even going to explain why Sinjin's in this deck, because he's going to be in every deck I play. Brawl, we've already talked about. Sunwalker, after Sinjin, is the best taunt minion in the game. And Gorehowl is, I think, a good weapon. We may take it out at some point. We may take it out even before we start the matches, because of its 7 mana cost, it's pretty extreme. But it's a great minion clear, because basically you can keep killing minions with it constantly, although your hero is going to take damage without losing durability. And at 7 damage, I mean, look, it would be decent as a spell. If you had a spell that said use 7 mana and do 7 damage, it would be a great spell. It would be a decent spell at least. Pyroblast for mages is use 8 mana and you get 10 damage. So it's basically what it is. It's kind of a direct damage spell with some abilities. Revenix, I got my key from being a moderator on the Hearthstone.com forums. So that's the idea of the deck so far. So let's go back into Cockatrice. Now, you can see we have 77 cards in this deck right now. And each of these is only in the deck once. That means there's 77 cards here to consider. I don't think we'll necessarily have to go through all of them, but so given where we're at, I think the first place to start is to talk about charge minions. So we have Corcoran Elite already in, but that's the only charge minion we have. I think, let me see, if you can just put in, can you just put in charge? Yeah, actually you can. Alright, so we can work through the charge minions this way. There's an ability for charge. I think we hold off on putting that one in for now until we see how many non-charge minions we have. One quick note, you notice if you have 2 of a card already in the deck, then it locks it, so you actually can't use anymore. So it's pretty interesting. Warsong Commander, again, I think we wait and figure out if we have a bunch of non-charge minions, and this can become an excellent card. But for now, let's see where we end up minion-wise. So here's the other charge minions. I think South Sea Deckhand would possibly make sense if we end up with a weapon. Stone Tusk Boar and Bluegill Warrior are your standard, and Wolf Rider for that matter. And these first 3 are really kind of your standard charge minions. They're pretty much right on the mana curve. Arcane Golem, I'm not a huge fan of. Old Murk-Eye we really can't use unless we go with a Murloc deck, which we're not doing. Leroy Jenkins, I think we should definitely talk about. It's a 4 mana, 6 charge. He does summon 2 1/1 welts for your opponent, but he's definitely a card to consider. Stormwind Knight. It's an interesting charge. It's basically, unlike the other charge cards that usually have more health than more attack than health, he's actually got more health than attack. And the reason that becomes useful is he's basically a trade minion. So you cast him, they have some, minion on the board who's got 2 health. You run him into that minion for 2 health, and now you're left with a 2/3 for the next hand. So he's not too bad. I don't know if you can hear my cat. She's meowing like crazy. Argent Commander is probably one of the best charge minions in the game. Probably second only to Leroy and Hellscream, honestly. Speaking of which, we don't actually have... Oops, let's see. Well, there's the cat. Told you she was coming. We don't actually have Hellscream crafted yet. I'm going to go ahead and craft him. I just wanted to let you guys see the crafting experience. We have plenty of arcane dust, so we're going to go ahead and craft him. There we go. So now we have Hellscream in the deck. So if we go back to our charge minions, I think we need to be careful because we're getting pretty mana heavy at this point. But I don't know how we make a warrior charge deck without the legendary warrior who has charge. So I think he goes in the deck. And then I do think Leroy Jenkins should probably go in the deck. For 4 mana, he's got 6 attack. You look at the other 4 mana charge drops, and none of them are close. So I think... sorry, my cat's making the chair move. I think he definitely... he should go in, especially at a 4 mana drop. We need some lower mana costs. So we're up to 24 cards. Obviously, we may drop some things. At this point, we've got 2, 3, 4 charge minions. Yeah, Whirlwind would be good. You're right, because it clears his whelps. It doesn't mean anything at that point. So we have 4 charge minions. I'm thinking this deck to really do well probably need something around 8 charge minions, maybe even 10, because I really want that to be the fundamental focus of the deck. So let's see. I think Argent Commander should go in. Again, we're got to watch our mana curve here. We're getting pretty steep, especially on the minion side. So we probably need some form of lower mana minion charge. I think... the one thing we don't have in this deck right now is like a shield bearer or any kind of really early minion, something like a 1-drop or a 2-drop. I think we could go with Fairy Dragon would be an excellent choice. The Fairy Dragon's really grown on me now that we've played it quite a bit. So we could go Fairy Dragon, and for those of you who haven't seen Fairy Dragon, I'll bring it up. This is Fairy Dragon. It's a 2 for 3/2, but it can't be targeted by spells or hero power, so you can only kill it with another minion. Another good low alternative might be a shield bearer. He doesn't fit in our deck necessarily for charge or early aggression, but at 0/4 and a taunt, he's basically going to stop us from being attacked for probably 2 turns, or at least 1 for sure. So shield bearer might be another option. If we go back to the charge minions, I think we talk about the Bluegill Warrior, the Wolf Rider. So what are your what's your thoughts about where to go with the low end charge minions? Do you think we're better off going with like a Fairy Dragon or Shield Bearer or something, or even go like an Elven Archer who gives us some damage, but so Elven Archer deals 1 damage and it's a 1/1 for 1. Elven Archer is an excellent card. There's the 2 damage version of it, which is Storm Pike Commando, but he's a 5-drop, so we really need to stay more in the lower end of cards. So what's your guys' thoughts? I want y'all to help out with putting this deck together. I've been talking a lot so far. Yeah, that is true about being the magic of the arena. I definitely would not have grown to like Fairy Dragon if we had not played Arena so much, that's for sure. And I do think Fairy Dragon and Constructed is maybe not as strong, but Fairy Dragon in Arena I think is an amazing card. In fact, I will probably start taking Fairy Dragon regularly in the Arena at this point. Yeah, I do. I think I agree. I think the 5 drop is too much. Um, let's see. Let's go through cockatrice real quick and see what other minions. Abusive sergeant may not be a bad option. It does fit in with the. Uh, can you guys see that? See the text on that card? Probably not too well. It does fit in with the theme of being aggressive early. Acolyte of Pain gives us some draw power. Let's see what else is a low drop. Bloodsail Raider. This really only works if we go with a weapon. Captain Greenskin, I also put in here for possible draw power, but we'll talk about him when we get to draw power cards. Let's see. Dark Iron's probably a bit high. Now, the other option we could go with too. So, I agree. I think the Wolf Rider is probably a good choice. Some other things we could do for early game presence is we could go Novice Engineer, which is a 1/2, but the battle cry lets us draw a card. So it offers pretty good board presence with a draw power ability. The flip side of a Novice Engineer is a Loot Hoarder, which I can't spell hoarder, which is the same thing. It's flipped to a 2/1 and it's a Death Rattle. Twilight Drake. Twilight Drake, we're probably, if we're going to be playing, we don't have a lot of draw power yet. If we're going to play Twilight Drake, yeah, we're going to probably be putting cards down pretty quickly to be aggressive. So I don't know that Twilight Drake is the way to go. I'm actually, the more we talk through this, I'm kind of tending towards maybe 2 Wolf Riders. And maybe 2 Novice Engineers. Now, obviously, we only have 1 spot left, but we'll take some stuff out as we go along. And, maybe a Shield Bearer. Maybe just 1 Shield Bearer or 2 to kind of stall the game out early. If we're looking through, kind of what cards can we consider giving up at this point, we're pretty minion heavy. And we have 1 weapon. I want to talk about that Gorehowl in a second, but we're pretty minion heavy. We have a little bit of draw power with Novice Engineer and shield, whatever the shield thing is, shield armor, shield block. That's what it's called. So we are pretty minion heavy. We do have some good early clear. What do you guys? So I do think the Novice Engineers are the way to go, and the Wolf Riders. Booty Bay Bodyguard is a taunt minion, right? Does not have charge. Yeah. Booty Bay is taunt. Booty Bay is fine, and in fact, we've used it quite a bit in Arena, but for your mana cost, Sinjin is really better, and I think Argent Commander is better too. So, yeah, I think Blood Mage. Yeah, I had Blood Mage, so I know you had Blood Mage in your deck. Blood Mage Thalnos isn't bad. He's, obviously he's a 2 for 1/1. He gives you 1 spell power, which, 1 spell power would help, like our Whirlwind, our Cleave, our Slam. We do have some direct damage abilities. His does have a Death Rattle, so he does give you 1 card. I'm actually don't mind playing him. We probably would take out 1 Novice Engineer for Blood Mage instead. Because I don't think we need 2 Novice Engineers and Blood Mage. But yeah, he does fit our deck a little bit. Although he is a 1/1, I wish he was a 2/1. So we are giving up a little bit, and I don't know that we'll leverage spell power, but we might. If we play him early, and Whirlwind or something, he would kill himself. Actually, you know what? Let's think about that. That's not a bad plan. So let's assume that they had 2 or 3, 1 health minions on the board. We could play Blood Mage Thalanos. We could Whirlwind, and with the spell power, we would clear the board and draw a card for 3 mana. It's not bad. Yeah, Wind Fury Harpy is on my list. We'll talk about that one in a second. I think Wind Fury Harpy. So there's kind of a couple ways that I think we could approach this deck. We could go with charge minions, or we could go with good minions and give them charge. So, right, things like Defender of Argus, who's also on the list, as well as Sun Fury Protector, potentially. Obviously, Warsong Commander. You know, all of those have good abilities. I'm tending towards, I kind of want to, at least at first, I kind of want this deck to be sort of a pure in concept where we really just go for charge, draw power, clear taunt, and keep it kind of focused. We'll see how it goes. We may end up turning it. Another Sunwalker is not a bad idea. The only reason that I would hesitate to do that is we already have an 8-drop and a bunch of 4-drops. So I don't know that we'll have the mana to cast 2 Sunwalkers, but I think that's definitely a possibility. So let's talk real quick about weapons. So I think Gorehowl is an excellent weapon. Let me see if I can get, let's see, does it say? No, it doesn't. I wish like it said weapon or something on the card so you could search by it. You can search by equipment in the Hearthstone database, I think, but not in this database. So, so I think, you know, let's talk about weapons. Again, with this deck where we are trying to be aggressive, I don't think it would necessarily hurt to have a couple weapons in the deck. Obviously, that turns our hero into another minion, basically. So our options here really for weapons are, let's see, Arcanite Reaper is probably, you know what, oh, here it is, okay. So Cockatree sorts it by equipment, which is nice. So you have Arcanite Reaper, which is a 5/2, Fiery War Axe, which is a 3/2, and Gorehowl, which is the big weapon. Given kind of our mana curve, if we're going to include any weapons in, I would probably keep Gorehowl and maybe put in 2 Fiery War Axes. Because you're doing 6 damage here. Arcanite Reaper is 10. But if you look at the... So let's think about this. For 2 mana, you get to do 6 damage. For 5 mana, you get to do 10 damage. So the mana to damage ratio is better, actually, on the Fiery War Axe than it is on Arcanite Reaper. So I think it's a better weapon. What does suggest the card mean? Okay, so if we didn't want to figure out the rest of our decks, we could just put suggest a card, and it would look at our mana. So, like, for example, here. Let's see, is it gonna... there it goes. So, it looks at... it says we need more minions. So, and you notice that it's giving us some low mana. We already talked about Fairy Dragon. Young Dragonhawk's actually pretty good, too. Oh, you know how it works? Well, here's what it does. Here's what it's telling us. And actually, I don't think these are bad suggestions. One thing you can do cool, too, which we may do at some point as kind of a... Maybe for something one night, we might actually just let the computer make a deck completely for us, which you can do, and then play that deck as well. That's something else I've thought about for something different. Okay, so what do you guys think about weapons? Do you think we should have some weapons? Maybe... someone else suggested a Rothy Weaponsmith, which I think is the one that gives you a 2/2. Yeah, so when it battle cries, it equips a 2/2 weapon. I don't think that's necessarily a bad option either. You get some card advantage there because you're basically getting 2 cards for the price of 1. So what do you guys think about weapons? Do you think we should have some? A couple Fiery War Axes, Arcanite Reaper, and a Gorehowl. It does, Pittsburgh, but hopefully, if we get, and we need to talk about if we have enough silence in this deck, if we can silence through the taunt minions, then we can just go after the hero directly, and the hero never comes back with retaliation damage. And remember, we'll be using our hero ability, hopefully some, so we'll have armor. So even if we take some damage, that's what the armor's there for, is to absorb it, hopefully. 2 Fiery War Axes instead of the Gorehowl. Yeah, I'm tending away from the Gorehowl. I will say if we decide to make a weapon-centric deck at some point with Warrior, I think I'd put Gorehowl in it. But maybe not to start. So we could do an Arathi Weaponsmith, which gives us a weapon and a 4 mana minion. It's a possibility. Think about Fiery War Axe. So the other thing about Fiery War Axe is we're talking about that we need kind of a two mana minion. Well, this basically gives us 4 2-mana minions. Unfortunately, it's our hero, of course, but you know, it is what it is. We get something for it. It's basically like having a minion. So I think I'd be okay with that. What do you guys think? Let's see. Yeah. So, you know, let's talk about we talked about what our challenges were going to be. The first is board control. I think we actually will be okay with clearing the board. We have 2 brawls. We have a bunch of low damage if we need it. We have some taunt for protection. We only have 3 taunt minions. We could consider maybe adding a shield bearer in and dropping something else. We are a little weak on draw power. We have 1 novice engineer, a blood mage Thalanos. We also have shield block, so we have shield block as well. Now the other, what was the card that I was thinking about adding? Let's see. I'm sure I'll remember it when I see it. Is it Inner Rage? No. Heroic Strike? No. Rampage? No. I'm looking for the one that lets you draw as many. Battle Rage. Yeah. So Battle Rage might not be bad as well. It lets you draw a card for each damaged minion on the battlefield. I think that could be very good, especially when they start attacking into our taunt minions, or we attack with our charge minions. So Battle Rage is not a bad idea. We could add... Well, I think Battle Rage wouldn't be a bad idea. The shield armor, use up armor you gained for the attack. Shield Slam, no. Shield Slam just basic... wait, you're talking about Shield Slam. Do we have Shield Slam in the deck? I thought we did. Maybe we don't. Oh, no, we do. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, it's a 1-drop, that's why. No, it doesn't use up the armor. So if you have 5 armor, it does 5 damage, but you still have 5 armor. Yeah, you're right. Battle Rage would be good for an Enraged deck. We could take a bunch of Enraged minions, hit Whirlwind, and then draw a ton of cards. I think you're right. I think it would have a better synergy in a different deck. So we may have draw power issues. Oh, I know the one thing we did not talk about. Something I would like to see in the deck is 2 Youthful Brewmasters. I think we need to, if we can bounce our charge minions and recast them, that's a form of card advantage. So I would like to find a way to put 2 Youthful Brewmasters in. I think I would also like to have at least 1 Spellbreaker in for another Silence, in addition to the 2 Ironbeak Owls. The other possibility... Oh, that's not what I wanted. The Black Knight. So this is a legendary card. When it comes onto play, it destroys a minion with Taunt, which could be very good for our deck. We'd have to craft it. But it's a 6-drop, so you know it's getting pretty high up there. But you think about in mid-game, if that Druid drops like an Ironbark Protector, that 8/8 with Taunt, or someone's got a Lord of the Arena out there, a 6/5 with Taunts, this card could be really good. Yeah, Alexstrasza is not bad. And for us, Alexstrasza could end up being a heal. Because we may get below 15 health because we'll be taking a good bit of damage in this deck, I suspect. But yeah, so I think what we need to consider adding at this point is either the Black Knight or a couple Youthful Brewmasters, which gives us a 2-drop minion, or again, a Spellbreaker. So, yeah, that's true. The Youthful Brewmaster, we could bounce the Ironbeak and recast it. So, you know, maybe we don't need the Spellbreaker then. If we were going to add 2 Youthful Brewmasters, what would you guys take out of this deck? Yep, that's what I was just asking, Pittsburgh. I want your guys' input on that. See, Inner Rage instead of Whirlwind. Yeah, Inner Rage isn't, it's a 0-drop, it's good. And we could use it to also enrage, like, our Corcoran Elite or Leroy Jenkins, even. We make him an 8/1 instead of a 6/2. We could, yeah, I could see maybe trading 1 Whirlwind for 1 Inner Rage. Getting rid of a Shield Slam, that's not a bad idea. Because Shield Slam is dependent on us having armor. So it's possible we don't have armor. I'll tell you the other thing that would be good about Inner Rage, honestly, is it would combo into our Execute. So we could use it as a 1-mana minion kill, basically, with Execute. Or we could use it to help Enrage. So I don't think that's essentially bad as well. We also have Cleave for early clear, so don't forget about Cleave. Usually at turn 2, they're not going to have more than 2 minions, hopefully. and usually they're pretty low health. So, the more I'm talking to this, Whirlwind I think is actually more of a late game clear, honestly, if we really got overwhelmed by like a Murloc deck or a token deck with a bunch of 1 health. So maybe we take Whirlwind out. I'm kind of digging Inner Rage, actually, now that I think about it with Execute. Problem is that a 0 drop, it's going to drive our card disadvantage pretty quickly. Let's see, what else? Brewmasters with Novice and maybe 1 Brawler. Well, I don't want to take the Novice out because we could also, for example, with the Brewmasters, we could bounce a Novice Engineer, which gives us more draw power. So I don't know that I want to do that either. 1 Brewmaster for 1 Novice. It's not a bad idea. Really would like to get 2 Brewmasters in. So maybe what we do... So let's set aside the Brewmasters for a second. What do you guys think about taking Whirlwind out and putting in Inner Rage? Or maybe take 1 Whirlwind out and put in 1 Inner Rage? Yeah, 1 Brawl. I think the more... So here's the thing about Brawl. You're right. We're probably not going to use... you're probably not going to use Brawl more than once a game. The reason you put 2 in the deck, though, is to make sure you get it when you need it. But I think let's take 1 Brawl out, actually. So we take 1 Brawl out. I like changing 1 Whirlwind for 1 Inner Rage, so let's do that. And then now we have 1 spot for a Brewmaster. The other option... what's the... Cruel Taskmaster is that actually... You know what? I didn't talk about Cruel Taskmaster. It's funny, I wasn't trying to pull him up, but I did. Here's a 2-drop minion that deals 1 damage, so it gives us some minion clear, but it also gives it 2 attacks. So it's got a dual purpose. It gives us some board clear, but it also potentially allows us to beef up one of our own minions. So it's not a bad card to consider. In fact, I would probably consider Blood Mage Thalanos over it, perhaps, for this deck, but we'll keep that in the back of our mind for later. So the only thing left really is, do we want to put in another Youthful Brewmaster, and what do we take out? I think our mana curve is going to look pretty decent with this deck. We're a little light on the heavy end. Maybe we might run into some issues with the late game, but again, this is not a late game mechanic. Yeah, I think they're definitely, based on the way the warrior cards work, there's definitely an enraged deck out there you can make with warrior cards, no doubt about it. I think that might be an interesting warrior deck to make at some point. This one I really want to theme it around charge and whatnot. Again, I think we may have trouble late game, but this deck is really designed hopefully not to get to late game too often or be in a pretty dominant position when you do. The one thing, so we didn't talk about if we actually want to use the spell charge or Warsong Commander. The only minions that don't have charge in our deck are our taunt minions. So, and Novice Engineer and our utility minion. So I don't think we need either one of those, frankly. Alright guys, so real quick then. So, yes or no, do we want to put another Youthful Brewmaster in, and what do we change out for it? And then we'll get going. Yeah, we definitely don't need charge spell, I agree. One Shield Slam. Yeah, I think that's not a bad choice. Yeah, I agree, because I think we already talked about that you may not have armor to use, so... And I do really think the Youthful Brewmaster utility is going to be nice. I mean, look, even in the mid-game, we could, cast Youthful Brewmaster to kick back an Ironbeak Owl and recast it for the Silence, and that's, 4 mana. The other good thing about Youthful Brewmaster, if our charge minion survives, Like if this Corcoran Elite doesn't get killed, we can cast the Brewmaster, bounce it back to our hand, and recast the Corcoran for another. Actually, we attack with the Corcoran, cast the Youthful Brewmaster, and then attack with the Corcoran again. We end up doing 8 damage for 6 mana. It's not too bad. Alright, so I think we're going to call this done. What do you guys think of the deck? You think we'll do alright? We can always change it. True. Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be fun. And again, this is, well, it's really about trying to figure it out and go from there. So let's open a pack real quick, since we usually open a pack before or between every game. Now, it'd be funny is if we end up getting one of the minions I just crafted, but it's all right. Acolyte of Pain is a card we didn't talk about yet. Again, I think there is a play an unranked first. Real quick in the chat, would you rather play an unranked or a ranked first match? We could play Trixie first. Yeah, so Acolyte of Pain, Worgen Infiltrator. I think we actually could make a charge / stealth deck, because in some ways, the Worgen Infiltrator is kind of like, y'all think unranked? All right. Ranked, go ranked. Ranked. It's pretty close choice right now. Considering I did title the channel Ranked Warrior, we should probably play Ranked Warrior. Let's just go ranked. Again, I'm not too concerned about losing, so let's give it a try. So we're gonna go Warrior. Thanks, bots. We're going to go Warrior. As I mentioned, I did actually play a couple practice games with a Warrior to get him to level 10. So if we haven't been in this interface much. It's that you can go unranked mode or you click ranked and it takes you into this. And you get a medal based on how far you get. So, well, if I cared about losing publicly, I probably wouldn't be streaming considering the misplays and losses that have happened. So... Alright, so it's trying to match us with someone, and it is a worthy opponent. Alright, so it's a priest. Priest might be kind of tough for us early game, or period, because it can heal through. Wait a second. Haha. So... I picked the wrong deck. You're absolutely right, Pittsburgh. I chose the basic warrior. Alright, so we're going to get to see how this basic warrior deck works. That will be our first game of the night. Interestingly enough. I actually played with this basic warrior deck some. And that's what I did the practice games with, and it turned out alright. So, sorry about that. Henrique, if you're on the stream, I don't know if that counts as a misplay or not. Definitely a mistake. It wasn't a play, so I don't think it can be a misplay. Anyway, so... Alright, so I think what we're going to do here is... I want to go aggressive early. So, let's coin into the Fiery War Axe. Gonna save Heroic Strike for later where we might need to clear a minion. Yeah, I should have switched out. Well, yeah, I decided, I used the coin. Did you like that? Thought you guys would appreciate that. It was just for you. Now, I wonder if I use Heroic Strike now, if it'll stack with my Fiery War Axe. My guess is probably yes, but you know what? It's all about learning. Let's find out. It does. Look at that, 7-3. Alright. So now we've done 10 points of damage in 2 turns. That's not too shabby. Yeah. It'd be funny if the basic deck ends up doing better than our constructed deck. So at 3 mana now, we'll go ahead and summon the Razorfin and Hunter to get some board presence. Next turn, we'll summon the Sinjin to get a taunt down. Yeah, I forgot. I should have looked at the interface closer. I thought that, you know, we never picked the deck, and I forgot that it will just basically make a basic deck for you you can use. So, obviously that's what it did. All right, so we'll put this engine down. This Mogushan Warden's going to be a little annoying. If since I don't know what cards are in this deck, I'm playing a little blind here. I'm tempted to run the Razorfen Hunter in to start wearing this guy down. Also make him probably less likely to trade. So let's do that, and then we'll end our turn. And the other reason that I also did that is it's not I didn't get low enough for him to do a trade here, so he'll either have to attack with 2 minions or he will have to use a card. So well, he's going to use this engine and run this engine into it. It's kind of funny that we're using the basic deck. Alright, so that's not a bad play. That's kind of interesting use of Shadow Madness. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Gurbashi Berserker is not a bad idea at all. Especially with 2 1-drop minions on the board, or 1-attack minions on the board. We can start taking damage from them. I think I will go ahead and trade. I can't. We'll trade this engine. I could dock him down to 2, and then next turn he could kill him. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Again, he can't trade here. He'll have to use another card or at least 2 minions to attack. So let's end our turn. Alright, Akanai Soul Priest. Now he can do a bunch of damage. Wow, Circle of Healing. Now it's interesting. Huh. Alright, well, I think I understand what happened there. So we can destroy a damaged minion. We can get his minion off the board, which is not a bad idea at all. We have 6 mana left. We get a big taunt minion down, give us some protection and attack. We can also get a Dragonling Mechanic down. I'd rather get a taunt on the board. So let's do that. We're not going to execute this turn, but that's okay. It just means he'll do damage. What's your question there, Master Coach? It's kind of funny playing this deck considering I don't know what the cards are, so... Oh, from him? Yeah, I have to go back and look and see exactly what he did there. With the Akanai Soul Priest on the board, wow, that's a good Faceless Manipulator. Alright, so... Let's see here. We can do a couple things. So we can't... let's see. So we can only attack 1. I'm tempted... Let's see. So... Can't kill... Well, we can trade taunt minions, which isn't bad. We can use Execute to kill that. We can Gurbashi Berserker here, which will enrage us up to an 8-3, and then we can hit him for 8 damage. I think that is the play. So, we'll trade here. We will hit the Novice Engineer to enrage even more. And then, yeah, so then we'll attack. Oh, that's right, you already attacked. Well, that's okay. He'll be good in enrage next turn. I don't know why I'm thinking of attacking twice. And now we have 6 mana left, so we'll do the Dragonling and use our hero power. Yeah, so how many draw power cards? Yeah, so draw power cards, I think it really depends on your deck. And again, it's not all about draw power. It's really about card advantage. So if you're getting... Oh god, he mind controlled our big guy. If you're getting a lot of card advantage from things like Youthful Brewmaster or Mind Control, you can be okay. If you don't have anything like that, then I think, you know, you probably need to cycle 6-7 cards a game to get... So you figure if you use 1.5 cards a turn, 10 turns you're going to go through 15 cards. So you probably need, in most games don't last more than 15 turns, so you probably need 6-7 cards to get through your cycle. Alright, so kind of a no-brainer trade here. We could execute. I'd rather save that for a different minion. So we have a bunch of Murloc-ness going on. It's kind of funny. Alright, so let's get... It's going to be quite a bit of board control going on here. We'll use our hero power, and we'll attack. And then end our turn. So, you know, we're actually not in a bad position this game. The first 2 turns where we got Fiery War Axe and Heroic Strike were actually really nice. Alright, so he's basically just going to put a big taunt minion out there to try to absorb a bunch of damage. Wow. A 120 minion. Now 2020. Alright, so this is the big combo he can do. Unfortunately for him, he's probably thinking he's sitting pretty, but we have Execute. So, yeah, his life is going to kind of suck, because all we're going to do is run our little 1/1 minion into this guy, and then we're going to execute him. So, yeah, that kind of sucks for him. We'll go ahead and play the rest of our minions. We'll play the Warsong Commander. We'll give our guy charge. We'll go ahead and hero power up, and then we'll attack with everything. I don't know why it keeps moving the order of the minions around. This is really annoying. I don't know why it's doing that. Anybody else seen that before? I don't remember it doing that, so... Yeah, that execute, you know, he's got a... I'll tell you, just a little... Well, I can understand why he did what he did. Yeah, he GG'd. I kind of would have... If I was him, I maybe would have saved that. So, anyway. But who knows? I mean, he couldn't know that we had an execute out there. Alright, so we won our first match with our basic deck. Let's try the deck that we put together. No. Yeah. A 2020 with taunt, it would have won the game in 2 turns. Yeah. But again, you got to keep in mind... you got to keep in mind the things your opponent can have. I mean, you can have a Vaporize as a mage. You got, you know, he obviously didn't think about Execute being out there, so. All right, so here's our cards. This actually isn't bad. We'll have the Cork Ring guaranteed at turn 4. Shield Slam will give us a draw card, maybe. You know, I'm actually going to drop... I kind of want to drop the Execute. I'm not really sure. Let's just go with it and see what happens. Maybe not the best choice, but we'll see. Is the stream lagged? Oh, we have Leroy Jenkins. That would be interesting to pull out at turn 4. Alright, we'll end our turn. It looks like the stream is lagging some. Are you guys seeing that at all? It's happened, what was it, 2 nights ago? It seemed to lag for a little bit as well. Alright, so he's a hunter. He put down a Starving Buzzard, which means he's probably got some sort of beast deck. We could go ahead and kill it with Slam. Slam's not actually, that's not bad. We won't get to draw a card from it, but we'll clear the board, and yeah. And that way he doesn't get beefed up with by summoning beasts. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we'll end our turn. Next turn, we'll probably go ahead and use Shield Block. Scavenging Hyena. So this guy's clearly built a beast deck. Those kind of synergistic decks could actually be trouble for us. So we have a couple options here. We could go Wolf Rider and put 3 points of damage into him. We could go ahead and do Shield Block and draw a card. I'd actually rather get the damage in, so let's go ahead and do that. And we'll end our turn. Again, the point of this deck is really kind of to hit early and often. So he's going to summon a companion. 4/2s, that's charge. Yeah, so he's got a charge companion. So he could put 6 damage back into us. That's fine. Inner Rage. Deal 1 damage to a minion against 2 attack this turn. Alright, so we could drop Leroy Jenkins. and Enrage and hit him for 8. And then probably we'll get him for 11 total. And he'll hit us for 6. So I kind of liking that play. It's going to give him... It'll give him 2... Let's see. We could also Corker and Elite here. That might be the better play rather than giving him Whelps at this point. And if we charge, we can take out... we could take out his Huffer. Yeah, you know what? I think I'd rather take out his Huffer right now. And then we'll... Oh, I forgot about his Scavenging Hyena. Oh, that's alright, we'll just trade this way. So we'll clear the board, and then we can always put in 8 points of damage with Leroy.
Well played.
Alright, so he's tracking the draw card. I still would like to use our shield block at some point. We could always do shield block and our hero power, and we would have 7 armor. He's got a gold. He's obviously been playing Hunter a bit. He's got a gold Timberwolf. Alright, so we got Hellscream now. So, interesting. So now we could do... Enrage would be 6, 8... We could do 12 points of damage at turn 8, so I think we want to save that Enrage for Hellscream. In which case, we could Leroy Jenkins out and put in 6 points of damage now. Or we could shield block and armor up. I think we will do Leroy Jenkins this turn. We could shield block and armor up. Do Leroy Jenkins next turn at turn 6. Yeah, you know what, let's shield block, see what we get. Novice Engineer is not bad. Alright, so let's go ahead and get Novice Engineer in. We'll draw another card. There we go. Now we... Alright, so this is good. So we will have... Taunt Divine Shield on turn 6. We can Leroy Jenkins on 7 and Grom on 8. I kind of like where we're at. So, you know, we'll be putting out some damage here. If he doesn't get some taunt down pretty soon. Well, he's got a little taunt there. Yeah, so this is where his beast synergy is going to start to kick in. So, let's see. Alright, Cleave. Alright, so let's think about this. We can get the Sunwalker down. At 6-5, he's going to have to pop the shield, and none of his other minions can kill it on their own. So that's a 2-for-1 trade for him. So I think that's the way to go. I wish we had one more mana, and I would run this into him and kill him with Execute, but I think we need more board presence, so Sunwalker's the play at this point. Let's see, do we have a trade we could do? We could trade... Oh, I can't trade, so I gotta go into him. So, I think we just end the turn. I want to save that Novice Engineer so we can use it to proc Execute if we need to. Now, I will admit, you know, he's only at 27 health, and we're like 7... What do you play? Frost Warlord? We're like 7 turns in, so... but we have some big damage coming. Alright, let's use Arcane Shot to pop the shield. Not a bad idea. He still can't trade, though. He's going to have to do a 2-for-1. He probably doesn't lose his taunt, so he'll probably go with Houndmaster and 2-for-1. Oh, he decided not to. Interesting. Alright, so now we have some options. Next turn is going to be Grommash Hellscream, probably. And he's going to do 12 damage with Inner Rage. Right? Yeah. So we have 12 damage coming out. So we just kind of need to stall a little bit. Yeah, so this time we could go ahead and... Well, I see we have Cleave. I'd rather wait till we can clear the board a little bit so we try to get some people killed for sure. We can run the Novice Engineer here. We can do that. I'd rather get this Frostwolf off the board if we can. Well, here, let's do this. Cleave does 2 damage. Let's run the Novice Engineer in.
If you're sure.
Hopefully we cleave and it hits this guy, the Timberwolf, and then we can charge. We have a lower charge. Well, we could charge and execute the big guy. So let's see what cleave does. That's alright. So now we can execute the big guy. And we can still play... let's play our Corcoran Elite. We won't get to use his charge ability, but at least he's on the map. I'd rather save him. Shit, we could have traded there. I didn't click it quite fast enough. Yeah, that would have been okay. With the 5 health, though, he's going to be forced to come into us with 2 minions. If we had done that, he only would have had to put 1 minion in, so... Probably could have done that, but I don't think it's necessarily that bad that we didn't. We really want to just maintain board presence so we can get Grommash out. Let's see what he does. Alright, so he's got 2 taunt minions now. 22. Alright. Yeah, Cleave was lucky, although Cleave would have been fine with either one of those minions. Okay, so he has decided to do the 2 for 1. He wants to start putting some damage into us, which makes sense. He may, I don't know, he may trade here again. Nope, he decided to go in. I think that's the better play if he does. Yeah. Alright. Problem now, ooh, looks, okay. This is where having the silence is important. Because we can trade here, pop out, silence the beast, and then we can Grommash and hit him. So, that's what we're going to do. We will...
What now?
Let's see. Let's silent. I just want to see... Why is this guy a 4-3? Your other beasts have 1 attack. Okay. So, if we silence him first, he'll still kill us either way. It doesn't matter. Just now he becomes a 3-3. Oh, and he's a 1-1. He doesn't have taunt. Yes, that's fine. I wonder if we could have done that differently. Maybe. Alright. I'd have to think through that again.
I don't have enough mana.
Oh, we can't cast Grommash now. That's true. Because of the silence. That's alright. We got the 2 taunt minions off. We can still cast Leroy and get 6 damage in. And armor up. Alright, so next turn Grommash will come out for 12 damage. Then we're going to be out of cards, though, so... Multi-shot clears it. He's only got 2 cards left, though. He's going to have to deal with Grommash, who's going to be nasty. Grommash is going to be a 12-8. So, oh, perfect. So... Well, so we have Knight 14 health. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think he can do 14 damage next turn. So, I think Grommash is the way to go. Yeah.
Taste my...
There we go. So next turn we'll get Sinjin down. If he doesn't kill us this next turn, I think we're in pretty good shape. It's right. So I guess when Grommash... Does Grommash always look like that? Yeah. I swear his face is bigger. Maybe because he's enraged. Maybe his picture got bigger. I don't know. Alright, so he's a 10-8. So, you know, unless he's got... He's got 9 points of damage there. He's got to kill Grommash, though. 1, 3, 4, 5. This thing can do 3 points of damage. He's not going to live the next turn. He just used all his mana, so he can't. So that's game, I believe. He's got no mana left. 3, 4. He can only do 5 points of damage. So, yeah, I think it's got to have to be game. Yeah, he's just going to throw everything he can at him and hope that, unless he's got a 0-point spell. Yeah.
Well placed, my...
Alright, there we go. So, you know, I think that's how I think that's how a lot of games with this deck are going to go, where we're going to probably win, but we may be like 15 health. So obviously that can be a little sketchy. So I think the deck worked decently well. The Ironbeak Owl came out at a good time. I do think we saw kind of our weakness in the early game. We may want to drop eventually one or two late game minions and pick up maybe a Shield Bearer for the early game or even a Fairy Dragon. But let's keep playing and see how this goes. Here, we'll open a pack real quick. What did you think of that game, guys? Did you see anything in particular that could have been done different, or any weaknesses in the deck or strengths in the deck? I think, I love Leroy Jenkins. We may have to take him out just because he does do big damage for his mana, but having 2 extra minions on the board, while it didn't hurt us that game against a Hunter, it could hurt us against like a Paladin or a Druid or something. So... Any thoughts, guys, before we get into the next one? Yeah, Leroy and Whirlwind is good. That's true. Yeah, we have Whirlwind in the deck. We learned that Inner Rage and Grom is good. Yeah? Yeah. We kept that combo 1 extra turn, then... well, no, we couldn't use it anyway because the taunt was there, so... I think we also learned that Execute is really good. It's so versatile. Yeah, I think we may change out Leroy at some point. I had to put Leroy in because of my scarring experiences with Bronius's deck. So we are playing against a worthy opponent. I don't know if it ever gives you anything but a worthy opponent. So Mage could be problems for us. Mage has so much board clear. All right, wow. Okay, so we don't need this much early clear. I don't think we need 2 executes. I consider execute much more of a late game. In fact, I'm tempted to drop... let's keep 1 execute and 1 cleave. Hopefully we get some minions. That's not too bad. We got Wolf Rider at turn 3. We can armor up on turn 2. We can shield slam if we have to. We can cleave as well. So this isn't a bad start. If she gets... We're going second. So if she gets a minion down now... She did nothing. Wow. And we drew the execute right back. You'd think we would have 5 executes in this deck, as many as we've seen already. But we don't. So we have the coin. There's really nothing we can do here, because even if we coin up, all we're going to do is minion damage. We could coin into armor, but that seems to be not a very good use of the coin, so let's just end our turn. King Mukla? King Mukla, he's the one that you summon... Does he summon something with him and then you give your opponent bananas? Isn't that the way he works? I can't remember. So it looks like she might be going to Spell Power deck. That could be pretty potent, because that's going to make all of her board clear, her Blizzard, her Arcane Missiles... all of that so much better. Alright, so we could slam this guy away. We could also just armor up. I'm tempted to armor up because I'd rather get a card out of this. And if he hits us for 2 damage, it's just going to be the armor. So
I will crush you.
So yeah. Yeah, and you're right. We can also cleave next turn. Well, she's drawing cards, so she's just going to attack. So that's fine. Alright, so we have Sinjin at turn 4. You know, I'm tempted to coin into Sinjin. Sinjin just gives us so much control. We can play Wolf Rider after that. I think that's the best play here. Alright, so we'll end our turn. I really like coining into Sinjin. He's a strong minion at 4-drop. He's an even stronger minion at 3-drop. So yeah. We don't have anything to really combo off the coin. It's not like we have a Gadgetzan Auctioneer or anything, so... he's silenced. You know, it's a good play. So let's see. Charge and Divine Shield at 6. We can do a good trade here. We probably should. Cleave is 2 damage. We have 2 executes. So we could cleave and execute, which would clear the board, and then attack. And we leave 1 mana. Well, let's see. We could slam the Spellbreaker. And then cleave, which would kill them both. Without using an execute. I kind of like that better. And we get to draw a card out of it. So, yeah, I think that's the better play. Nice. And we got Shield Slam out of it. So now we cleave. Get both of them out. And then we'll attack. That way we save our execute for bigger minions, which I think is the better play. So let's see, turn 5, we have 2 good 6-drops out there. Turn 5, we will probably be playing our Wolf Rider and shielding up. And the good thing is with Charge, so this is why the Charge deck is good. So yeah, she's got AoE to clear, but the thing about Charge decks is that you get the benefit of their damage without having to, what's the word I think of? Not totally lost my train of thought. You get the benefit of the damage without giving your opponent a chance to respond. So, all right. So we got a Brewmaster now. We could bounce Sinjin, but we can't recast him yet. I think the better play is... So we can Sinjin into him, which keeps us alive. We don't have any armor yet. We could armor up... We could armor up, shield slam. So Sinjin, armor up, shield slam, Wolf Rider. That way we get to keep our execute again. So let's see. So we'll go here. We'll armor up. Oh, I miscounted my mana. Oh well. Do we want to bounce Sinjin? Yeah, let's go ahead and bounce Sinjin so we can recast him next turn. Yeah, so basically I think attacking with him and bouncing him is fine. I was thinking we had 1 more mana, but it worked out. So continue with the spell power theme. She's going to ping for 1, so I don't know if she's going to Arcane Explosion. That was kind of odd. I would have just... well, I don't know what I would have done there, actually, now I think about it. So we can recast Sinjin and attack her for 3. She can't trade with the Ogre Magi. We could trade with the Corcoran Elite and attack with the Brewmaster, but I like putting Sinjin out and armoring up. So there's the advantage of the Brewmaster again. We can... By bouncing Sinjin, we basically got an extra card. So... Again, it's card advantage. We're doing pretty good. We have 6 cards. She has 6 cards. Just drew a 7th. So we're doing pretty good with our cards, actually. We have big 6-drops we can play next turn. So I like this. If she decides to attack, he's going to be damaged and can die to an execute. If she puts anything else out that's not a taunt, we can attack with the Brewmaster and kill it with an execute. Alright, so she's going to freeze. That's fine. That takes away some of our options because now we don't have anything to attack with for execute. Looks like she might kill. Yeah, that's not a bad combo, but let's think about what she did there. She used 2 cards to kill 2 minions. So, yeah. I actually printed out all the secrets. I actually know the mage secrets pretty well, so I don't need to look at it, but I printed out all the secrets, so... Alright, so we have Blood Mage Thalanos now. That's interesting. We don't have anything that does damage, so... 28 to 24, we're ahead. We attack her. See, Mirror Entity is when you summon a minion. So, you know, if we cast Wolf Rider and she mirrors it, that's not going to be bad because she's not going to get the benefit of charge. I don't really want to give her a Sunwalker or an Argent Commander. So I think we put the Wolf Rider down so we can try to pop her trap. Let's see what happens. Alright, so it's not mirror entity. So I think here we can go Thalanos and armor up, or we can go Wolf Rider and hit her for 7. She'll probably have a secret though. Let's do that. I like the 7. Could be Ice Barrier, it could be Vaporize. Let's find out what it is. It's probably Ice Barrier. I think that's the most popular mage secret. Oh, Vaporize. Okay. So she vaporized the 3-1. Not terrible. Let's go ahead and attack. Yeah, there's Vaporize, Barrier, Ice Block you don't see very often. Let's see, what are the other mage secrets? Counterspell, which we didn't cast any spells, so she dropped another secret. This time it wouldn't surprise me if it's an Ice Barrier. Alright, so she got 2 Ogre Magi's. We can trade one out for the Argent Commander. Alright, this will work. So here's what we do. We drop the Argent Commander to take out one of the Ogre Magi's. And then we Whirlwind, which will keep us alive, and then we execute the other one and we attack. So we could drop a Thalanos. Does that make a difference? It doesn't, because it's just 2 damage instead. So yeah, we can still Whirlwind and execute. So we trade for 1 mage here. I don't know if I like using a Whirlwind on just 1 minion, but we really need to maintain board control. So yeah, it could have been Mirror Entity. I probably should have. I don't have a lower minion really to drop. Probably another Vaporizer and Ice Barrier is my guess. Ice Barrier. So now she has 8 armor. It's fine, just more that we have to get through. And we end our turn. So we still have Sunwalker, which will give us good board presence. And then, now, here's where we could run into trouble. If she has a Blizzard, yeah, Cone of Cold. She's going to ping 1. It's not a bad play. But, you know, for those of you who might be making mage decks, I played mage a lot in Cockatrice. And honestly, I far prefer Blizzard over Cone of Cold any day for the mana cost and what you get out of it. Alright, so I really wish we could drop the Sunwalker and the Elite. We can't for mana-wise. I think we can go ahead, though. She doesn't have any minions out, so I'd rather drop the Elite. Do some damage. We'll go ahead and get Thalanos in as well. We're gonna Hero Power. And then we'll hit her for 4. Alright, so she's only got 3 cards and no minions. This is not a terrible position for us to be in. We still have the Sunwalker in our back pocket for some board presence, so I think it's okay. Yeah, I know Cone of Cold and Ice Lance is a good combo. So, you know, Blizzard can basically, especially if she's playing a spell power deck. Okay, there's Blizzard. So, you know, she has Blizzard as well. So she's basically playing a control deck. Bronius can testify that I really tried that a lot with Mage, and the problem you run into is late game, you just don't have the oomph to push through, and, you know, you see we're at 25, she's at 20 and 2 cards. So, let's see, I think the play here is Sunwalker. Here, let's shield block first and see what card we get. So we could kill with Cleave. I think that is not necessary at this point. Let's get our Sunwalker down. We'll have a taunt. My guess is she might still have a Polymorph, which is fine. You know, she'll Polymorph and we'll deal with it. Mana Hack. Well, congratulations on the job. You know, I guess it would be the most horrible thing if you get your beta key, obviously. But yeah. Alright, so this is, you know, I feel like we're still in decent shape. Now, she's got another secret. Could be a Vaporize. It could be a Mirror Entity again. It could be a Counter Spell. It could be another Ice Barrier. I don't want to give her a Taunt Minion, so I think I want to attack first and see if we can pop it. So let's see what it is. My guess is a second ice barrier. Oh, a second vaporize. Wow. So she's playing a really secret heavy mage deck. It's, you know, that's fine. Again, I don't think it's too scary. We could kill with cleave. Yeah, I don't yeah, the golden taunt board, I hadn't seen that. It is pretty cool. We definitely want to get our Sinjin out. We could go ahead and slam. I would still really like to save that for when we want to draw a card. I'm tempted to go ahead and cleave, but you know, we're pretty far ahead still. So I think we just hero power up. Yeah. Yep. So I'm trying, I'm trying to learn as we play. You know, one thing I think somebody said at one point, which is true, is, you know, if you're ahead, you really shouldn't be trading. You really should be focusing on damage and making good clears. But if it's just a straight trade, or you're taking out, you know, like I said, a 1-for-1, you really don't want to do it. Yeah, I don't want to AoE for one minion either. So we have cleave now. So she's gonna fire. Oh, she fireballed us. Fireball bypasses taunt. That's fine. So she did 7 damage. Nothing we can do about that. But look, it was all armor. So yeah. Okay, so here we can attack into her taunt. We can cleave, which will kill both. And then now, well, you know what? The better option: slam, draw a card, and then cleave. Yep, slam and cleave. I agree. And we got a Novice Engineer, even better. Let's go ahead and play the Novice Engineer so we can see what card we get. Inner Rage. Alright. Probably want to save that for now. So we make our Sinjin do 6 damage. Let's go ahead and cast our Cleave. So we have 4 left. There's nothing we can cast. We'll definitely use our hero power. It'd be nice if we had a weapon at this point. Maybe that Fiery War Axe will show up. So we could Inner Rage. I don't really want to take... I really don't want to damage our taunt minion. So I think the way to go is just to attack. Yeah, enter for Grom, or enter for Leroy. Or even enter for Argent Commander as well. Argent Commander, alright, so she Flame Strike. She's using all her clear. Again, this is the problem with this kind of deck, is that you have great clear, you clear the board, but then what does that get you? Nothing. Because now you can't do anything. So we got our Fiery War Axe. We're going to go ahead and armor up. And then we'll just attack with both. So yeah, you know, I just don't... Again, this kind of mage deck, I definitely tried it a lot. Yeah, if I was her, I would have used her hero power on the Sinjin to kill it. So now she's getting really desperate. She's frostbolting us, so we won't attack her. Which is kind of funny, because it's actually going to work if we don't get a charge minion now. We got another Fiery War Axe. So there's nothing we can do. Yeah. So, you know, one thing we're kind of seeing with this deck, we actually have quite a bit of minion damage, which isn't necessarily bad, but we may want to consider swapping out some of our minion clear for either more utility cards, like another Youthful Brewmaster. Alright, there's Grom. Now the problem is we have a taunt minion on the field, so we can't do our big combo yet. We can't even... Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, we can. So if we attack with our hero, execute, then we can Grom and Inner Rage. So I think that's the way to go. So we'll attack with our hero. We'll execute. We will Grom it up. Inner Rage. For the GG. GG! Alright, so that went pretty well. Again, I think that mage deck, I think that idea for a mage deck, at least this point in the metagame, is just flawed. I tried it a lot. I do think mages will get buffed at some point. And I think they need it, frankly. So, all right, guys, let's open a pack real quick, and then I am going to take a quick break, and then we'll go into our third game. So, what do you guys think so far? It seems like this is working pretty well. I think it's a solid deck. I think we may have to think a little bit. I said think like 5 times in 2 sentences. We may need to consider some other good minions that may go well with the Inner Rage. For example, Gurabashi Berserker I could see going well with Inner Rage. Oh, he doesn't have charge, but if he stays on the board more than 1 turn, we can charge him up. So, did anybody see if we're earning gold? I haven't paid attention. We may have. Okay, so I am going to take a quick break. And, yeah, I'll be right back. Just give me a couple minutes. Just want to get something to drink, and I'll be back in a second. Alright guys, I'm back. Yeah, Grom in a Rage is a win condition. You know, that's not bad though. 12 points of damage is not a bad win condition. We do have other ones, I think. You know, we could Inner Rage an Argent Commander. That would do, what, 7 damage? But I think it is worth considering some other Inner Rage combinations that might work really well. So, let's go back into the play mode. So, real quick, guys, Hearthstone.com is the website. You can follow me at YouTube, Twitter, and obviously here on Twitch, which is all Darhoth. Also, check out the Hearthstone 101 or Hearthstone 101 guide on the Hearthstone forums. I'm also posting a schedule now on Twitch channel, which will show you the schedule for the week. I'll try to keep it up. And let's see, otherwise, definitely follow me on Twitch. If you follow on Twitter, I send out an automatic announcement whenever the stream goes live, so you will find out. Colin, if you want to see the deck building for this, I will post the video up maybe tonight, if not tonight, tomorrow. You can also go back. It'll automatically be up on Twitch. If you look under past broadcasts, you'll see this broadcast, and you can go back and watch the deck building. Also, guys, if you have any interest, well, actually, hold on, I'll just go ahead and say this. So this is our third game with this deck in the play mode. So far, we are 2-0, so pretty good. We have a worthy opponent, which is what we always have. So if you have any interest in donating, again, I'm not asking for donations. I do this for fun and for you guys. We do take donations, though, for the purpose of opening packs, and that's what we'll do with them. So if you want to make any donations, it's darhoftwitch@yahoo.com. If you want to, great. If you don't, also awesome. I'm just glad to have you guys in the stream. All right, Argent Commander's too big for early game. Corcoran Elite's a solid 4-drop, but I think I'd rather drop it for now. We have lots of... we have 2 in the deck, and we have other charge, so let's try to get more early game presence. So this isn't terrible. Sinjin, a drop 4 is good. Fiery War Axe will allow us to do damage early. We have both of our Fiery War Axes, so we'll probably pop that on turn 2 and either clear his minion if it's scary, or it's a rogue. So actually, as a rogue, we'll probably... This is going to be a bit of a damage race. It will be a good test of our deck, frankly, because rogues can definitely burn you fast, and our deck kind of has some of the same goal, so we'll see. Yeah, the only reason I don't put the donation info in my Well, I don't know if I really completely want to explain why I don't, but I have reasons that I don't. I've thought about that, and I've just decided not to, honestly. So, at this time, I may change my mind. So again, you know, if I was really trying to do this for the purpose of getting a ton of free packs from donations or trying to make money, I would do that. So one thing too, guys, on the YouTube and hopefully soon on Twitch, I'm hoping I can become a partner on Twitch. You have to have, I think, 300 or 500 consistent viewers for like 3 nights a week. We're not at that level yet, but if I can become a partner with Twitch, and I also have now monetized the videos on YouTube, I will promise you guys 100% of the money that I make, which won't be much, but 100% of what I make on either YouTube or Twitch will absolutely go back into buying packs for the stream or arena entries as well, because those are $2 a pop. So all I can say is this is not a attempt to make profit by me. It is an attempt to make the stream as good as possible and show you guys the game. So that's what it is. All right, so I'm so used to 0 being the coin. I was about to say we could coin into Sinjin. That would have been funny. That would be a really derpy moment. Okay, so again, nothing really to do here except armor up and attack, frankly. So let's do that.
What now?
And if you have any ideas for the stream, you can also email me at darhoftwitch@yahoo.com. Any ideas you guys have for sort of what we can do on a given night? I have some ideas, like maybe playing arena and always taking the first card. I am also going to start doing user submitted decks. So if you email me a deck, I'll pick a night where we're going to do user decks, and I'll try to put together 2 or 3 decks from users. We'll play them as submitted, and then we can tweak them as the night goes on. So keep that in mind as well as a future possibility. So let's see here. We have a questing adventurer. Can get big early, but I'm not too scared of it, honestly. I think the play is either to armor up. I think either way we're going to use the Fiery War Axe. We could go ahead and drop our Novice Engineer. And probably not a bad idea. You know what? I'm just going to armor up here, actually. We're going to drop the War Axe, and we'll go ahead and kill the questing adventurer. Because I just don't want to... I just don't want him to get big. And we have armor anyway to absorb the damage, so. Hey, Savage, doing well, doing well. Just streaming it up a bit. So. Do a healthy night where you eat fruits and vegetables and maybe some push-ups and sit-ups. I haven't seen your name before in the stream, Only Logical. So I assume you mean that as a bit of a troll comment. So, yeah. Just putting this out there because this seems to come up a lot. I have actually been taking a big effort to lose weight and get in better shape. Work out with a trainer twice a week, play tennis 3 days a week, and I have lost 38 pounds in 8 weeks so far. My goal is 150 pounds in a year. So I will, I'm not taking mine to you. I like telling people about it because I'm proud of it and I like that I'm doing it. And I probably will keep you guys updated because I actually, I like the public accountability of it. I like to put it out there. And actually for people who, those of you who know me in real life, and hopefully this doesn't lead to a bunch of people trying to Facebook me, but I actually do post my weight on Facebook once a week to give myself some accountability about, yeah. So, all right, what happened here? How did this? I thought we killed the questing adventurer. Oh, he cold-blooded him. All right, so he's a 7-3, and now he's gonna coin him up. Wow, he really wants to do damage with him. Well, unfortunately for him, we have 2 Sinjins on the board. Now he can assassinate, which would not be so great. We don't have an execute. An execute here wouldn't be bad. See, what's the best play? I think the best play is just getting a Sinjin down. He might hit us for 8, so there's really not much we can do about it, unfortunately. Nah, but we don't have an execute. If we had an execute, I would shield slam and execute. No, he didn't waste a coin. He used it to buff his questing adventurer, is what he did. I mean, you can argue whether or not that's a waste. Yeah, we don't have an execute. We've had it so much, I kind of assume it's there, but we haven't seen it yet. So the questing adventurer is going to get a little scary. So he's putting a lot of he's putting a lot of eggs in one basket for this questing adventurer. We really need to draw an execute to deal with this guy, honestly. And there it is. So we got our execute. So he's going to hit us for 11. Not the best thing in the world to happen, but you know, we will, worst case scenario, we'll armor up and execute next turn. And I wish, let's see, let's think about this. I couldn't kill it last time, I don't think. No, we had no execute. We just drew execute. I don't think we had any way to kill him last turn. Unless we attacked with the warrior, with our hero. But we had no execute. We just drew execute. Yeah, attack with weapon. No, I agree. It was a bit of a risk. I was hoping that we would keep the taunt minion in play, but we didn't. So, alright, so now we have lots of options. So we can charge Divine Shield. We can charge and get rid of him with execute. We can armor up and shield slam and execute. Let's see. Let me think about what I want to do here. I kind of like... Well, no, we got to be careful. We play the Argent Commander, then we can't execute. So the only way we can really clear him is to armor up, shield slam, and then execute. Probably should have played the Novice Engineer first, but I wanted to do what I could there, so... Intern. So, if we armored up, would have been 3. We could have done 3 damage with Shield Slam, 3 with our attack. Yeah, look, it was... I would say that was really sort of a tactical choice. So here was the thinking. We could have cleared him. I would have taken, I think, 7 damage at the time. We had a taunt minion down. I was hoping that he'd have a way to clear the taunt. So the trade-off there is he could have... We could have cleared him and taken 7, or he could have done what he did. So it happens. All right, so we can't clear the Mana Addict. He's playing scared, frankly, at this point, because he dropped Conceal. Well, if we didn't draw Execute, we still had a Sinjin to go down. We had 2 Sinjins as well, so yeah. You're right. I mean, it probably was the better play. So let's think through this. We have Youthful Brewmaster. I'd rather save Youthful Brewmaster for maybe even Gromish. We could bounce him on turn 10. So I think Sinjin Armor is probably the way to go. We can't... The most he's going to do is attack us for 1. I'd rather get damage out here. But if we Sinjin in Armor, that's not a bad play.
Oh, if you're sure.
Alright, in turn. So we have 2 more turns until we can put Gromish down and do 12 damage. Actually, I was going to say, I wouldn't mind for him to drop a minion, because now we can cleave. Wow, he's just... That's the second Cold Light Oracle he's played, so he does not care about his opponent having cards. Obviously, he's got a big burn deck out there, so... We can clear the board with Whirlwind and Cleave. Is he going to replay the Cold Light Oracle? Wow. Maybe he's trying to... This might be the first mill deck I've seen where he's trying to make you mill cards. It's interesting. He's just trying to buff up that Mana Addict. 9 points of damage. And that's a good play. He's played this well. I'll give him that. It's kind of an interesting... Wow, it's an interesting rogue deck, because he's not really, it's not a traditional rogue deck. It's definitely, Very mana heavy for sure. Or minion heavy for sure. And we're burning cards now. This is an interesting deck, I have to say. Now you can have 10 in your hand, 7 on the field. Alright, so if we Whirlwind and Cleave, we can definitely trade everything and still get our... Well, we really need Taunt. So if we get Sinjin down... Let's see. Yeah, Whirlwind, Cleave, and Sinjin's about all we can do here.
Oh, if you're sure.
Alright, so... yeah, it's probably going to be GG, because he's going to have some sort of direct damage. He could do... Actually, it'll be GG anyway. Well, no, he's got to deal with the taunt. I don't know that rogues have damage to hero spells. Most of theirs are just do damage, so he's got to clear the taunt, I think. He can't attack directly because of the taunt. Yeah, that's a direct damage. Shiv. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we win this game. Although we can play Grommash. You know what? Grommash next turn is going to do 12. 15. If we draw... Well, no, we still can't.
The Brotherhood shall prevail.
Well, and now Edwin Van Cleef is out. Yeah, head crack, yeah. Didn't we... Oh, yeah. I don't know. I had so many options that last... Alright, so we're still in this, honestly. Van Cleef is going to come out next turn. We got to keep a taunt up. I'd love to play Grommash, but we need to use him to end the game. So... Well, let's see. 3... And then we can't play Grommash. We can't... Grommash does 12 damage, and 3 is 15, but... I don't think that's the way to go. I think Shield Block and Argent Commander is the way to go. No, Shield Block will keep us alive, hopefully. Slam. So if we survive this next turn, we'll probably be able to kill him. We will definitely be able to kill him. Well, he can kill us with Van Cleef and something else. I mean, he doesn't have much in terms of damage at this point. So, if he has an Assassinate, I don't know. I don't know that he will kill us, honestly. So let's see what he gets. He's got to do 6 damage. He's got to do 9 damage total. So he's got 2 there, so now he needs to do 7 more damage. Yeah, I think we may actually pull this out with 1 health. If we do, this will go on the list of epic games, because anytime you survive with 1 health, there should be an achievement for that, honestly. Yeah, we'll play Grommash. That's game. That's game. Just for fun, we're going to play... Grommash in a rage. GG. Wow. All right. So we pulled it out. Look at that. 1 health. That worked out. It worked out. You know, you never can count it out in this game. Probably was a little risky to not use Shield Block earlier, but you know, it worked out in the end. That's a game that I might actually go back and rewatch it and maybe even spellcast. So, you know, it was an interesting deck. I'll give him credit. I mean, I think that deck works well probably quite often. But I don't know about the Cold Light Oracles. He cast that so many times, but you look, he did basically 2 big hits of damage, right? He had a super minion at the beginning and a super minion at mid game. That's pretty situational to get that combination where your opponent doesn't kill it, and I could have killed the first one and probably should have in retrospect. So, you know, I can see how that deck works, but anyway, we won. So, so far, our deck is undefeated. Now, I will say, not that I don't think this is a good deck. Ooh, we have an epic. Let's open our epic first. So, Farsight for Shaman is a very good card. Situational, obviously, but good. The rest of these are good. We've seen them. So, I will say, our deck is doing well. But thanks to the generosity of you guys and all the packs that we've opened, we have a bunch of legendaries and epics that a lot of people don't have at this point. So, we will probably have... We have cards like Grommash, for example, that other people just might not have. So... But it's going well. I mean, the deck seems to be working pretty well. Any thoughts about that game? Things we could do in the deck? It does seem like we're still a little vulnerable early. I'm starting to really think we might need a Shield Bearer in there. I don't think we have any 1-mana minions. So if we pull the Shield Bearer, that gives us you know, a little bit of stall. That wouldn't be too bad. We could Shield Bearer on turn 1, Armor on turn 2, or Fiery War Axe on turn 2. And either way, we are in decent shape. Also, guys, any feedback on the stream, on the casting, I'm always open for it, so let me know. Yeah, Shield Bearer is the 0-4 Taunter. We could also go for the Goldshire Footman, who is the 1-2 Taunter. This isn't bad. Shield Block is good early. Ironbeak Owl is decent. I'm going to drop the Corcoran Elite. Wolf Rider, that's actually not bad. I don't know, Shield Bearer, I don't know that he's horrible. Because at 0-4, he gets... I mean, anything that's a 1 or a 2 drop can't clear him. So, he's not bad. A 1-2 can be cleared with a direct damage to, you know, 2 attack. So, Shield Bearer has... I mean, he's definitely not my favorite taunt minion. The Goldshire Footman, the 1-2 taunt might be better. So... Well, heal 4. Think about that. If it was actually a card that said pay 1 mana, heal 4, I don't know if that's a terrible card for most people. We could play the Ironbeak Owl here, but there's nothing to silence. He hasn't played anything yet. He's just drawing cards, so I'm just going to armor up. Is anybody getting stream lag? Henrique, I know you are, but is anybody else getting it? And what kind of lag is it? The video lag or is the audio lagging? Yeah, Henrique, I think it might just be an issue on your end. I'm not seeing lag on the TV where I had the stream up, so... Alright, again, Voodoo Doctor, not worth silencing, so I think we do Wolf Rider and go ahead and start getting our damage in. Unfortunately, people... I don't think people can see it at a lower resolution. Multiple resolutions is something I think you only get from being a Twitch partner, and we're not to we're not to the level of being a Twitch partner yet, unfortunately. All right, we could shield block here and go ahead and draw a card, or we could continue to lay damage in with the Corcoran Elite. I think I tend to actually prefer to lay damage in at this point. Against the Warlock, doing the early damage is not bad because if he wants to use his hero ability to draw cards, the sooner you can get his life in the 15 minus range, the sooner he's going to think twice about drawing cards with his hero power. So good early aggression on Warlock is not a bad way to go. Guys, definitely tell your friends about the stream. It's awesome, the support that we're getting. We seem to, for most nights, at least weekday, we seem to be around 50, 60 viewers, which is great. I love it. But if we can, get that up to 100 or so, if we can get high enough where we start showing up in the featured channels for Twitch, then, that's really great. People will see that and come in. So Alright, so he used a spell to get rid of our minion. Hit for 3, not terrible. We can take the minion out with an armor up and shield slam. And then that will only leave us 2 mana. Which we can't do shield block, which I'd rather do. I don't really want to cast the Brewmaster. We could Leroy Jenkins for 6, although I'd rather wait. I think armor up. You know, I think armor up and shield slamming is the way to go. And I'm going to go ahead and play the Iron Beak Owl. We can always bounce it back into our hand next turn if we need to. But I'd rather get a little board presence down and make him think about if we use that for next turn. Again, maybe not 100% the best play. I think we'll have to see how it turns out, but alright, so here comes a Questing Adventurer. It's gonna Demon Fire. Wow, that's a... I don't know, that seems to be an aggressive use of Demon Fire. Alright, there's our Inner Rage. So Questing Adventurer, probably want to deal with that guy sooner rather than later. We learned that last game. The only way we can deal with him right now is the Leroy Jenkins, which will clear, but then he's going to have 2/1/1s. I'm not so keen on that. We can't brawl because there's not more than 1 minion. I think actually shield block is the way to go. Yeah, I want to kill it before we grow, but our only choice is Leroy Jenkins to kill it. We could Leroy Jenkins and armor up. I don't think that's terrible. What do you guys think? Leroy and armor? Leroy and armor or shield block? Yeah, it doesn't answer the question. Jenkins? Alright. Yeah, I think Jenkins too. Not the preferred use of Leroy Jenkins there, but it keeps us in the advantage point of the game, so. And, you know, against a Warlock, that's not a bad play. Because I don't think, other than Power Overwhelming, which would do 5 damage to us, which is what he may cast, he doesn't have a ton of typical buff abilities in a Warlock deck. You know, this may be the time for Brawl. Unless we get, although Whirlwind would be awesome right now. Alright, so... so we have a few choices. We could shield block again, Fiery War Axe, and then take out the Fairy Dragon. I kind of like Brawl here. Because Brawl, he's going to lose every minion but 1, and then we armor up again. Or actually, you know what? We don't armor up. We take Fiery War Axe and hit him for 3. So yeah, I like that. Let's see where Brawl takes us first. Hopefully one of his 1/1s comes back out. For you who haven't seen this animation before, oh great. That worked out perfect. So... not bad. I think next turn we're going to have to shield block. We're getting a little behind on cards here. So we'll shield block. Hopefully we'll draw a minion. Ideally it would be a minion with charge that we can then Youthful Brewmaster and bounce back. Although it'd have to be a 3 mana minion or less, which means it'd have to be a Wolf Rider. And I can't remember if we have any Wolf Riders left. Alright, Cult Master gives him some draw power. Oh, Sinjin. Well, Sinjin's fine. We can shield block and Sinjin, so I think that's what we want to do. See what shield block gets us. Corcoran Elite. Yeah, I think we Sinjin. We have to get some taunt down. Those of you who watch the stream normally, or regularly, I guess you wouldn't watch it abnormally. Well, let's see. Do we want to... well, we have 5 armor. We'd rather kill the draw a card or kill the Knife Juggler. I'd rather kill the draw a card, although it's 4 damage back. But it's just armor at this point still, so... yeah, we could have killed the Juggler. I'm a little worried about our card advantage here. We have 3 cards, he has 5. So, yeah. Shadow Bolt and trade. Yeah, so he didn't use the juggler at all. That makes me think he doesn't have any mini. Oh, see, he messed up there. Well, I guess he didn't mess up really, because he killed the taunt first. All right, so Corcoran is 4/3. 6. We need 10 mana to do what I was thinking about. Slam. All right, deal 2 damage if it survives. Draw 1. Alright, so we have Grommash now. So next turn we can play our 12-point combo as long as we have the taunt cleared. I think here we go ahead and cast the Corcoran to clear his taunt. So he's forced to play a taunt next turn. And then we could Brewmaster the Corcoran back and then recast him, but I'm actually more inclined... Well, let's see. Let's think about this. Good chance he's going to die to the Knife Juggler. So I think that's actually the better play, is to bounce him. If we were at lower health, I would probably armor up, but this way we can save him in case we need to clear another taunt minion. Alright, so he's going to heal off of that. I don't know, I'm not tired of it yet, I really like it. So here's the thing, he doesn't think of himself as being in danger, but he kind of is, because we're going to kill him in 2 turns, and he doesn't even know it. Cleave is perfect for us, honestly. We're going to cleave, kill both minions, Corcoran Elite, do 4 more damage, and then we'll armor up, so this is good. Alright, so we've got him now in Grommash range. So let's end our turn. And if he doesn't get a taunt minion down or he doesn't heal, it's GG. Or he doesn't kill us. The silence there, you may think is kind of silly, but he had no choice. He had to. Because you have to silence something if you can. Yeah, he's just playing scared, so it's going to be another Grommash victory. There we go, GG. Grommash is pulling it out. That the draw card didn't trigger. Are you talking about when we use Cleave? So, yeah, it's 4-0. 3-0, 4-0 with this, 3-0 with this deck, 1-0 with the the basic deck we used by accident. Yeah, so the reason that the Cult Master here, let's explain this real quick. That's a good question. So he had a Cult Master down, which is whenever one of your other minion dies, draw a card. We played a Cleave, which is deal 2 damage to in random enemy minions. So the way the game works, the mechanics of the game works are, if you cast an AoE spell, it applies all that damage and resolves all that damage all at the same time, or at least in one, the cat's coming back, at least all in one function or action. So the Cult Master and the other minion died at the exact same time, so the Cult Master's ability never triggered. That's why that happened. I'm actually getting some lag on the stream now too. Are you guys getting that? Are you guys still in chat? Oh. Anybody? Yeah, the cat does have claws. I don't declaw my cats. No lag? You know, I'm getting some lag. Let me see. I do have 2 cats, although you've only ever seen one on stream. The other one hides. You know, I'm gonna try... I don't really have anything open. Let me try killing... I still have cockatrice open, but it doesn't drain much. Let me kill everything I have up still. Make sure it's not lag on my end. My chair does actually have claw marks on it, but I don't care. It's just a chair. I'd rather not declaw the cat for that. So let's see. Let me restart something real quick. Yeah. So. All right. Let me know if anybody sees any lag besides Henrique. And I don't mean to make it sound like I don't care about Henrique, but I just want to see that Mr. Catling doesn't go anywhere. What are the cats' names? Alright, don't make fun of me. Actually, I don't care if you make fun of me. Thelma and Louise. They're sisters. Alright, so we're going to open a pack real quick. This deck seems to be doing really well, guys. I think there's some tweaks we can make to it. Let's play one more game, and then let's talk about tweaking it. It's 9 o'clock now Eastern. My plan is to probably play another hour, and then maybe a little bit more. So maybe we'll do an arena series. My throat's starting to get... My voice is getting a little scratchy, so I'm probably going to have to limit myself a little bit, especially if I decide to stream this weekend. So... Alright, by the way, guys, if you do donate, say so in chat, because I'll go check the PayPal, and then that way I'll know. I try to open packs in the same stream in which the donation occurs. So it looks like we are getting 5 gold a match. I have to admit, that seems pretty skimpy. Simply because it takes 150 to get into arena, so you have to play 30 regular matches to get 1 arena. I don't know that I'd like that. Something I didn't show yet, we do have quests down here. So those of you who watched the stream yesterday, we played Hunter. We only went 1 and 3 in arena, but the quest didn't go away. So maybe what we'll do is we'll play a 1 arena, and we'll try to pick one of these classes, and then hopefully that'll work out. Oh wow, 1 per match? That's even worse. I think you know, I don't mind spending the $2 for arena, but I think most people so I will say, so here's a quick commentary and then we'll get into a game. My opinion so far of the game is that I think the gold curve is a little steep and the pack opening curve is a little steep. I think people will, yeah, the quests will help. I think people, once they start playing the game, are going to get a little frustrated at how slowly things go. Maybe I'm wrong. My experience in the game is skewed because I've been spending money for the stream and I've been taking donations, so it's been much more accelerated. But I think the average player could get frustrated, but we'll see. Alright, so let's play one more with this warrior deck and then we'll talk about tweaking it. But, you know, so far we're undefeated, so... Now, of course, well, they have to make money. It's not a matter of hoping to make money. They have to make money. That's the point of the game and the point of being a gaming company. But there's a fine balance. There's a perfect equilibrium between getting the maximum amount of money out of people who are willing to pay while getting as many people to come into the game as possible. So, yeah. What else was I going to say? I can't remember what else I was going to say now. Alright, Sunwalker, too much for this early. Let's drop it. Brawl, I think we also drop. So, Sinjin, even though it's a 4-drop, and I usually don't keep 4-drops this early, I keep Sinjin because he's such a strong card. Wolf Rider's good for turn 3, so I think we keep them both. Sorry, Dusk, I didn't mean to